Well, what happens when new Christians are not discipled, um, I, I guess a good metaphor, probably one of the better metaphors, is to compare it to a malnourished person, child, adult, right? Um, when you don't receive the right nutrients, the right nurturing, um, then things begin to go awry. You become susceptible to certain illnesses, infections, you become weak, and you make yourself subject to false doctrines, aberrant activities, and so on. You don't understand really the full potential of God's Word to impact your life. When I look at, well, let's think about what Paul was saying to the Corinthians. He says, why are there still fightings and strife among you? He says, isn't it because you're still living according to the flesh, not according to the Spirit? And that's the source of virtually all of our problems, is that we're walking according to the flesh, not according to the Spirit. Well, how do we walk in the Spirit? Well, we walk in the Spirit by understanding what the Spirit expects from us through God's Word. And it's not just simply, of course, enough to know God's Word. It's not only about you getting into God's Word. It's about God's Word getting into you and bringing you from point A to point B to point C in this journey of faith. And so if you short circuit that anywhere along the way, then you're susceptible to all kinds of maladies. And so it's really important to be discipled from the stage of being a new believer. It happened with me. It made all the difference in the world. A couple of mentors that came alongside of me. And when I came to Christ, I was living quite a contrary life to the Christian walk, into drugs, into drinking, into all kinds of aberrant behavior. But through those who took on responsibility to mentor me, to disciple me, who fed me God's Word very carefully, incrementally, and with giving me greater and greater responsibility, I understood what it means to be like Jesus Christ. I wish like any of us wishes, I've reached perfection. That won't happen until, but I thank God that I'm not what I was. And it's because people took responsibility to disciple me.